My question to you is, how do you reconcile the need to build thousands of genuinely affordable homes with maintaining green open spaces in London?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, for example, policy G4, B1 of your London plan says that you don't want a development to result in the loss of protected open space.
Yeah.
Now, just to give you an example, before the previous election in 2016, myself and Assembly Member Whittle went to a place in Sidcup in Bexley Borough called Old Farm Park, and I know you visited there as well, and we both undertook to try to do everything we could to protect that as an open space and spaces like that. But now, just this year, the development has started on Old Farm Park in Sidcup. How does your plan provide protection to those kind of open spaces?
So what there's independent work done to work out how many homes London needs over the next period, and there's separately work done to see if we can identify the homes that need to be built. And there is a difference between, because of the inspector's recommendations, there is a difference between the number of homes London needs and the number of homes that we've identified that can be provided without building on protected green land, whether it's MOL or the green belt. The bad news is we're nowhere near getting even that target of 52,000 identified in the London plan. But we think it is possible. Jules used the word intensification, whether it's brownfield sites, whether it's small sites, whether it's building new council homes. We think it is possible to do that without needing to touch either the green belt or MOL.
Now, I know this word intensification comes up a lot. It's a new word that I've learned since I've been here on the Assembly. But from representations from people, particularly in outer London, they don't want intensification. I've had letters from people from areas of Chessington to Slade Green to sort of Edgware. They don't want intensification. They're very happy with their areas as they are. Particularly, they don't want to see small parks and pocket parks being built on. Now, does your plan give protection to those small parks and pocket parks? Because you do mention small sites, and the worry is, and people listening to that would think that there may be lots of development on these very treasured and cherished small green sites around outer London.
Absolutely not green sites. The focus is the garages, the derelict garages at the end of the street, the tarmacked car park behind the shop that used to be a bed shop. Now it's a cafe. Got no use for the 50 car parking spaces out the back where the lorries used to be. If that's at the end of a residential street behind a high street, continue the row of houses, but don't continue it with just more semis. How about a 3-storey mansion block, and instead of having 2 more or 4 more homes, you've got 16 more homes. That's the kind of intensification that we're talking about. It's not threatening, it's not tall, it's not on green space.
Okay. If I can stick with the policy I mentioned before, policy G4, it doesn't just say you don't want a loss of protected open space, so it also says you want to create areas of publicly accessible open space. So I know you want to increase the amount of green open space from 48% to 50%. How are you going to do that when also building 52,000 homes a year?
Well, it is possible. We've got examples with some developments already coming on stream in relation to not just bringing back green space into use, whether it's green walls, whether it's green roofs, other examples of canopy cover. We are seeing an increase in green space in London. We want that to continue, whether it's the green space through planting of trees, or whether it's other policy we've got from the environment strategy. The fund we've set aside, which Deputy Mayor Shelley Rodriguez referred to, is an example where you can apply for funding to help you get more green space in your area.
I'm not convinced that you're talking about green open spaces. You're talking about green roofs and green walls. I think what people want to see from that is that there will be sort of land, green open space, on the ground floor level, like parks. How are you going to make sure those are protected and increased, actually?
So in terms of the policy, it does protect space, green space that's protected, but what you're talking about is kind of creating new spaces, and through area action plans, but particularly through things like our opportunity area frameworks, where we're actually master planning whole areas, we'll make sure that within that there's the green space that the community needs, and so you actually put that into your design, and you can design things in a way that you can make the most of including green space, but also make the most of building homes and the employment spaces.
I've just questioned that, because in your opportunity areas, obviously there'll be lots of construction in those opportunity areas, but are you also going to increase the amount of land which is green open space as well?
It would make sure that there is green open space that is required by the community that you're developing, yeah.
But are you going to increase the green open space so that there's actually then 50% over Greater London as a whole?
Yes, yeah, I mean that's the whole package of measures in the plan allows us to do that, yeah.
And part of it is about reclaiming, greening the grey, where you're starting to turn sort of paved open spaces into greener spaces, so that it starts to help with sort of flood alleviation and flash flooding and so on. And I was just going to say that through the Mayor's Greener City Fund, we've already greened over 275 hectares, so it's starting to move towards that over 50% of London's green cover.
And you can see it in some of the applications that have come through in recent years, where pocket parks and larger open sort of green spaces have been created, whether actually within a development as public space with walking through, not enclosed courtyards, but a public open space that's green. And even when you have two larger developments side by side, I've seen a number of developments where because it's been master planned, each different developers contributed their bit to their side of the thing, and then once all their respective developments are built out, the green space in the middle as a whole is provided.
Okay, well, we shall see what happens. Thank you.
Okay.